What if the flowers in your home weren't just decorations, but messengers? What if their colors, their scents, their silence held energy, memory, even karma? Welcome to Buddhist Wisdom Daily. This is not just a video. This is a gentle awakening. In a world that moves fast and decorates faster, we rarely stop to ask, what am I really inviting into my life? Into my sacred space? Into my mind? Because every bloom carries a story. Some offer peace, others echo grief, and some whisper to worlds we cannot see. But this isn't about superstition. It's about awareness, a return to seeing the world the way the Buddha taught us, clearly, compassionately, and with great reverence for all things, seen and unseen. Together we'll explore 5 common flowers, beloved by many, beautiful to the eye, yet spiritually complex. Along the way, we'll walk through teachings, real-life stories, and moments of deep reflection. And more importantly, we'll learn how to choose the energy we welcome into our lives and how to let go of what no longer serves. So take a breath, settle your heart, and see the flowers around you not just with your eyes, but with your soul. Let's begin. In the profound silence of Buddhist contemplation, we come to see that nothing in this world exists in isolation. Everything is bound by the law of dependent origination. This arises because that exists. And so, even a single flower, often admired and forgotten, can carry the karmic echoes of lifetimes. We must ask, what do we truly bring into our homes when we bring in beauty? For the awakened mind, there is no such thing as a neutral object. Every color, every scent, every presence is a vibration. As the Buddha taught, as the bee gathers nectar and flies away without harming the flower, so too should the wise live in this world. But how often do we stop and consider whether the flower we gather is nourishing our path or quietly draining it? A disciple once asked a forest monk why he never picked the flowers that bloom near his hut. The monk replied, because some flowers are not meant to decorate, they are meant to teach. This insight stayed with me. The petals we admire may conceal lessons in impermanence, craving, memory, and even unresolved sorrow. We decorate our homes with what delights the eye, but the spirit feels what the mind cannot name. This is not about fear. It's about seeing clearly. The Dhammapada says, mind precedes all things. And what we allow into our space, physically, emotionally, spiritually, feeds that mind. It shapes our thoughts, our moods, and even our dreams. So the next time your hand reaches for a blossom, pause. Ask not only, is it beautiful, but is it aligned with peace? Does this flower invite calm or stir memory? Does it support stillness or seed subtle unrest? To live mindfully is to choose even our surroundings with compassion and clarity. In a world overflowing with distractions, to tend to our home as a sacred space is no small act. It is a daily vow to walk the middle way. There are flowers that speak loudly through silence. The red spider lily is one of them. It does not announce itself with softness. It rises, sudden and spectral, like the memory of something you thought you had let go. Its striking scarlet petals curve like tongues of fire, and yet it never blooms with its leaves. The two, leaf and flower, are never seen together. One dies, the other rises. This dance of presence and absence is no accident. It is a metaphor carved in nature's script. In many Buddhist cultures, this flower is seen near places of transition, graveyards, temples, riverbanks where ashes are scattered. It is called the flower of the other shore. In Japan, it's linked with the Sanzu River, the path souls must cross after death. In China, it's known as the Manjusaka, the flower that guides the dead. But its lesson is not morbid, it is liberating. The red spider lily reminds us that life is, by nature, impermanent. That the beauty we chase is always just one season away from fading. and that no matter how tightly we cling, the current of life flows onward. I once counseled an elderly man who had kept a pot of red spider lilies by his wife's shrine. She had passed 10 years earlier, yet he told me he still felt her presence, especially when the flowers bloomed. He thought it was a sign of her watching over him. But his home was silent, not peaceful, but heavy, his sleep broken, his memories looping. I gently asked him, "Have you let her go, or are you still asking her to stay?" His eyes welled with tears. "I don't know the difference," he whispered. "This is what the red spider lily reveals. Not pain, but attachment. Not endings, but our refusal to end the story." In the heart of the Buddha's teaching is this truth. It is not death that causes suffering. It is the grasping. To those who find this flower in their lives, I offer this practice. Sit beside it in silence. Say to it, as if to a memory, "Thank you for the love, the sorrow, the lesson. I release you now, not in forgetfulness, but in freedom." And if you are ready, plant in its place a lotus. The lotus blooms not in tribute to loss, but in celebration of resilience. It does not deny the mud. It rises from it. The lotus is the path beyond grief. The red spider lily shows us where the wound is. The lotus shows us that healing is possible. In every falling petal, there is a teaching. And in every act of mindful release, there is rebirth. At first glance, the poppy is soft, radiant, even poetic. A gentle bloom dancing in the wind, glowing like a lantern at twilight. But beneath that beauty lies something much deeper and far more deceptive. In Buddhist thought, the poppy represents Maya, the illusion that distorts our perception of reality. It is not evil, but it is misleading. Maya is the veil that keeps us trapped in cycles of craving, comfort, and confusion. And the poppy, with its dreamy presence, invites us not to awaken, but to drift. There's an old story from the Buddhist sutras about a king who fell deeply into comfort. He surrounded himself with beauty, fine music, gentle fragrances. But his spiritual master warned him, "You are walking deeper into a dream." The king, laughing, replied, "Isn't peace a good thing?" To which the master answered, "Not when it delays your awakening." This is the danger of the poppy. It offers not true peace, but the illusion of peace, a softening of awareness, a masking of inner unrest. Homes where poppies grow often report an inexplicable heaviness. People feel foggy, unmotivated, as if stuck in a beautiful but stagnant pond. I once visited a family who had planted poppies near their meditation room. Over time, they noticed they had stopped meditating altogether. The space that once inspired clarity now felt sleepy. "We used to wake up with purpose," the mother told me. "Now we wake up tired, even after sleeping 10 hours." The poppy teaches us that not all stillness is sacred. Some stillness is a numbing. Some silence is the absence of aliveness. True peace, the Buddha taught, is the result of understanding, not escape. So if you have poppies blooming around your home, take a moment to reflect. Is this space supporting your growth or seducing you into forgetting what matters? To remove a poppy is not to reject beauty. It is to reclaim clarity, to say, "I choose wakefulness." Cleanse the soil gently, light incense, offer gratitude, and in its place plant flowers that embody awareness. Lavender for calm clarity, jasmine for spiritual insight, or lotus for awakening. Because the real danger isn't in what the poppy shows you, it's in what it helps you ignore. Among all the flowers known for their spiritual ambiguity, none carry such a double-edged energy as the angel's trumpet. Its name is deceiving. Its bell-shaped blossoms seem like sacred instruments announcing peace. But in the unseen world, this flower is a beacon, not for angels, but for spirits. Its fragrance grows strongest at dusk, when light recedes and the veil between realms thins. In many traditions, this hour is when wandering souls are most active. And the angel's trumpet, with its hypnotic scent and downward-facing blooms, is believed to open invisible doors to them. In ancient temples across Asia, monks noticed that when this flower bloomed near shrines, meditation grew restless. Chants would falter, the air grew thick. It was as if unseen visitors had joined the gathering, uninvited. In Buddhism, this is the realm of Mara, not just a being, but a force. The force that lures us away from awareness with beauty, confusion, temptation. The angel's trumpet is Mara in floral form. It doesn't harm with teeth, it seduces with fragrance. A young couple I met once placed this flower near their bedroom for its exotic look. Over months, their sleep declined. Tension rose. They began arguing over trivial things. When they removed the plant, the atmosphere shifted dramatically. It was like waking from a strange dream, they said. This flower is not cursed, but it carries a current not aligned with the middle path. It reminds us that in spiritual life, not all that looks divine is. If you have angel's trumpet near your home, pause and observe. Has peace grown thin? Has connection turned into confusion? Then speak with intention. I release this beauty with gratitude. I choose harmony, clarity, and light. Then cleanse the area with sacred smoke, sandalwood, sage, or pomelo leaf water, and plant protection in its place, white lotus for purity, marigold for spiritual shielding, or basil to uplift the heart. Because your home is not just a shelter, it is the field where your karma blooms. Let what you plant be in service of your awakening. Camellias are beautiful, delicate, refined. They're given in moments of love and joy, quietly placed in vases to celebrate grace. But not all beauty uplifts. Some beauty lingers, softly, silently, with a weight that sinks rather than rises. Unlike other flowers that fall in pieces, the camellia drops as one, whole and sudden. There's no gradual letting go, only a single, soundless goodbye. In Buddhist symbolism, this is no coincidence. The camellia is a symbol of endings without closure, emotions left unspoken, stories left unfinished. It doesn't stir chaos. It drapes a room in stillness. Not peace, but a kind of emotional pause, like a breath held too long. I remember a student who adorned her meditation corner with camellias after the passing of her sister. She loved these flowers, as she said. I feel closer to her this way. But over time, her space began to feel heavy. Her practice dulled, her joy faded, and she confessed, it's like the room forgot how to breathe. We often forget that our environments absorb us. Our spaces are not passive, they reflect, they hold, they echo. And when they become saturated with symbols of sorrow, even the most graceful flower can anchor us to grief. The Buddha warned us of this subtle attachment. Even a golden chain is still a chain, he said. The camellia may be gentle, but it can tether us to what must be released. Letting go of a camellia is not about forgetting. It's about honoring without clinging. If you feel your space has grown too still, too quiet in the wrong way, speak to the flower as you would to a memory. Thank you for your beauty, for what you held when I could not. But now I choose lightness. Rinse the soil with salt water. Let morning light cleanse the corners. Offer incense, not as ritual, but as relief, and plant something that breathes renewal. Peonies for abundance, plum blossoms for resilience, chrysanthemums for longevity. Because remembrance should not trap us in the past. It should help us grow toward freedom. This flower waits for the sun to disappear. The night-blooming jasmine lives in shadows, and only then does it begin to speak. Its fragrance, sweet and mesmerizing, fills the air like a hymn in a language the soul almost remembers. But not all things that bloom in darkness bring peace. In many Buddhist and spiritual traditions, nighttime is when the veil between realms thins, and jasmine, lovely as it is, becomes a soft beacon for the unseen. Children waking restless, elders reporting vivid dreams, pets staring into corners, people saying, "I feel watched." I've heard it all. And more often than not, jasmine was blooming nearby. At a retreat I once led, our evening meditations grew dense and unfocused. Attendees spoke of strange dreams and unusual pressure in the chest. When I walked the grounds, I found the garden edge lined with night-blooming jasmine. An old monk smiled knowingly and said, "Ah, she's singing again." Jasmine doesn't curse, it calls. And what it calls isn't always what we need. The Buddha said, "Not everything that is sweet is nourishing. The flower's aroma may soothe, but it can also cloud. Its beauty may enchant, but enchantment is not clarity." If you've welcomed night jasmine into your home, pause. Ask yourself, has my rest grown thin? Is my mind as quiet as my room? If not, act with grace. Prune the branches with mindfulness. Light incense and recite a loving-kindness prayer. May this space be safe. May all beings, near or far, be at peace. Move the jasmine away from places of sleep or sacred practice, and in its place, plant strength. Rosemary for memory, basil for protection, peach blossom for joy. Because your home is not simply walls and windows, it is a sanctuary for your soul's unfolding. And while jasmine blooms in silence, your spirit deserves to bloom in light. Let your home speak not in whispers of wandering energy, but in declarations of peace, clarity, and presence. Let every breath in your space be free. And when the night comes, let it find you not haunted, but whole. This isn't a call to fear flowers. It's an invitation to awaken to them, to stop choosing beauty by habit and start choosing it with heart. When you place a flower in your home, you're not just decorating, you're offering an invitation to energy, to peace, to presence, or sometimes to stagnation and sorrow. A wise Zen teacher once said, "The garden outside is a reflection of the garden within." It's a truth we forget, but our homes are never just physical. They mirror our longing, our cluttered minds, our calm intentions. And the flowers we tend, they're like thoughts. Some bloom into compassion, others fade into restlessness. Not all flowers whisper sadness, some lift us. The lotus, born from mud, yet never stained by it, is a perfect symbol of resilience. The peony, lush and vibrant, invites abundance. The chrysanthemum offers longevity, clarity. The plum blossom bursts through winter frost, and reminding us that joy can bloom even in cold seasons. To plant these with intention is to nourish not just soil, but soul. It's to say, I choose light, I choose growth, I choose joy again and again, like water returning to the roots. In Buddhism, there is no such thing as a neutral space. Everything is energy. Everything is karma unfolding. So your home is more than shelter. It is your temple, and your garden, your altar. If you found that the flowers around you carry sorrow, tension, or memories that no longer serve your healing, don't panic. The Dharma does not punish. It simply reveals, and it gives us the tools to choose again. Start with presence. Walk through your space slowly. Breathe. Notice how you feel near each plant. Is your body at ease? Is your heart still? If something feels heavy, don't judge it. Honor it. Bow to its teaching, then gently let it go. Thank it with sincerity. You served your purpose. I now release you with love. Cleanse the area, not just with incense or water, but with silence, with breath, with intention. And when you're ready, plant something new. something that mirrors your highest aspirations, a flower that sings to your spirit, because every petal is a prayer, every stem is a vow, and every garden, no matter how small, can become a field of awakening. The mindful gardener is never just growing flowers. They are growing freedom. The Buddha never told us to fear the world. He told us to understand it. And what we've explored here today is not about flowers, not really. It's about intention. It's about awareness. It's about the spiritual vibration of the spaces we inhabit, and how every choice, no matter how small, leaves an imprint on the soul. You don't need to live in a monastery to live with mindfulness. You don't need to chant daily to walk a spiritual path. Sometimes it starts with the simplest act: changing a flower, tending a garden, letting go of one symbol, and planting another. Because your home is your first temple, your thoughts, the first prayers, your energy, the first offering. So let your home reflect your intention. Let your garden speak in sutras. Let the air you breathe be clear. Let every object you welcome carry the weight of wisdom, not worry. And if this journey moved you, if it stirred something in you, know this: you're not alone. You're walking a path that millions have walked before, a path of clarity, a path of compassion, a path of awakening. So share this message, leave your reflection in the comments, and may your garden always bloom, not just with flowers, but with light. From Buddhist Wisdom Daily, thank you for walking this sacred path with us. May all beings, like all blossoms, know peace, be free, and rise in the light. Until next time.